On the 20th of September 1943, Sani Abacha was born in Kano, northern Nigeria, to a Kanuri family with roots in Borno State, but raised in the heart of the ancient city. From a relatively prosperous background, his father ran a successful transport business. Young Sani grew up in a region that would produce many of Nigeria's leaders. He attended local schools before joining the Nigerian Army in 1962. Commissioned as an officer in 1963 after training at the Nigerian Military Training College in Kaduna, and further instructions at the Mons Officer Cadet School in Aldershot, England. Abacha rose swiftly through the ranks, lieutenant in 1966, captain by 1969, major in 1972, lieutenant colonel in 1975, colonel in 1980, and brigadier by 1983. He played pivotal roles in Nigeria's turbulent military history. On the 31st of December 1983, he announced the coup that toppled civilian President Shehu Shagari, installing Major General Muhammad Buhari. In 1985, he supported Ibrahim Babangida's palace coup against Buhari, becoming Chief of Army Staff and later Chief of Defense Staff under Babangida. Turning points came after the annulment of the June 12, 1993 presidential election, widely seen as Nigeria's first election, which was won by MKO Abiola. Babangida annulled it, installed an interim government under Eneshonoki. On the 17th of November 1993, Abacha staged a palace coup, dissolving institutions and declaring himself head of state and commander-in-chief. He promised stability but delivered authoritarian rule. The 5th of July 1993, the most influential petroleum union in Nigeria, NUPENG and PENGASI, began one of the longest strikes in the countries. The purpose was to win Abiola's release from prison and force the army to accept civilian rule, which made the nation to plunge into a fuel crisis, and Nigeria's economy was paralyzed. On the 8th of July, riots broke out in Lagos, Oyo, Ondo, Ogun, and Edo State. As many as 20 persons were killed when state security forces attacked demonstrators. On the 20th of August, the General Secretary of NUPENG, Franco Kuri, was arrested, forcing all other trade union leaders and pro-democratic leaders to go underground. On the 4th of September, the strike was finally called off after a lot of pressure from the government. In that same month, Abacha issued a decree that placed his government above the jurisdiction of the court, giving him absolute power. Another decree gave him the right to detain anybody for up to 3 months. The political organization that opposed Abacha's regime was the National Democratic Coalition, NADECO. Its leaders were either arrested, murdered, or exiled. On the 19th of August, the chairman, Chief Anthony Naharo, General Alani Akinrende, former Chief of Defense Staff, and Chief Cornelius Adebayo were arrested and later released. Alfred Rerewan, one of the major financiers of NADECO, was murdered at his residence in Lagos. The family of Chief Abiola was not spared. The 10 million naira owed to the family by 3 state governments was not paid. Their oil license were revoked, and huge money owed to Abiola's radio network was not paid. On the 4th of June 1996, Alhaji Kubira Abiola, a senior wife of Chief MKO, was murdered in a car by unknown assassins in Lagos. Most of the killings during Abacha's regime was attributed to his chief security officer, Hamza Al-Mustafa, who was often regarded as the angel of death. One of the papers that was highly critical of Abacha's regime was The Guardian. Its publisher, Alex Ibru, on the 2nd of February 1996, was shot and wounded in his car by some unidentified men. In March 1995, former military president General Olusegun Obasanjo was in Denmark for a UN summit when he heard that his second-in-command General Shehu Musa Yaradua had been detained. Upon arrival, he was arrested by the police and accused of associating with the coup plotted by Brigadier General Lawan Gandebe. On the 4th of July, a military court sentenced Obasanjo to 25 years in prison. Yaradua and 40 others were also accused of being part of the conspiracy and sentenced to death. Abacha later commuted the sentences to life in prison and reduced Obasanjo to 15 years, but General Shehu Musa Yaradua would die in prison. Abacha also arrested his Vice President General Oladipo Odiya and sentenced him to death for a coup plot in 1967. Here we see him begging Abacha for his life. One of the human rights violations during Abacha's regime came from southern Nigeria. Ken Saro-Wiwa, a writer, environmental activist, was a member of the Ogoni people, an ethnic minority in southern Nigeria. His homeland had been a destination for crude oil exploration since the 50s. For decades, they have suffered from extreme environmental damages due to indiscriminate deposition of petroleum waste by the Royal Dutch Shell Corporation. Abacha's government was corrupt. In 2004, a list of the top 10 self-enriching individuals was released. Abacha and his family were ranked 4th. They were alleged to have embezzled $1 to $5 million. In September 1999, a Swiss lawyer by the name of Enrico Monfreni was assigned to get hold of the money embezzled by Abacha. He found out that more than $1.5 billion was stolen by Abacha and his associates. Between 2005 to 2007, $508 million found in the Swiss accounts were returned to Nigeria. In 2018, the amount the Swiss returned to Nigeria was more than $1 billion. In 2014, $277 million were held in Liechtenstein was returned to Nigeria. In 2020, $208 million held in the China island of Jersey was returned to Nigeria. Despite corruption, he achieved some economic feats. His administration oversaw an increase in the country's foreign exchange reserve from $408 million in 1993 to $9.6 billion in 1997. He also reduced Nigeria's internal debt from $36 billion to $27 billion. Abacha also reduced Nigeria's inflation rate, which he inherited from Enoshoneken, from 54% to 8.5% from 1993 to 1998. Benefits was not even applauded. Naira became almost worthless. Unemployment skyrocketed. Teachers and students were equally frustrated. From March to October 1996, university lecturers in Nigeria embarked on a strike to demand a raise in their salaries. In return, the government banned their association. General Sani Abacha died on the 8th of June 1988 in presidential villa Abuja at the age of 54. His cause of death remains a mystery, as he was buried without an autopsy. These have fueled many speculations that he might have been poisoned. However, the federal government identified his death as a sudden heart attack. To some, he was a strong man who resisted Western influence and stabilized the economy briefly. To most, Nigeria's darkest dictator, brutal, corrupt, repressive. His rule scarred democracy, fueled distrust in military, and symbolized unchecked power. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.